This is a Makita circular saw blade sharpener. I did a video on it a while ago. I'll put that up in the top corner and down in the description if you're interested. And it's sitting here on the bench today because today we are going to talk about circular saw blades. G'day guys, welcome back. If it's your first time here, cheers for dropping by. We're going to look today at circular saw blades. Now, I'm not talking about sizes of blades. We're talking about different sort of types of blades, different types of teeth, angles, different materials that you cut with different circular saw blades. Now, that is quite a big topic. So I'm going to break it down into one brand to begin with. And if you can't already work out what that brand is, then probably not worth watching any more of the video. Anyway, it's going to be Makita because I already had a ton of Makita blades, so it was easy to just grab a few more and basically get their entire range so I can show you the types of blades that are available from Makita at least, and maybe in a future video we'll add a few more other specialist blades in. But anyway, let's get started. So the blades I'll be showing you today range from 125 millimeters up to, well, I haven't got the 415 with me, but now, when it comes to circular saw blades, different countries have different normals. So different countries use different types of blades, different sizes of blades, even though they're using it for basically the same purpose, cutting wood, predominantly. For example, 125 millimeter or 5-inch blades are pretty common on saws in Japan. These are all 125 millimeter 5-inch saws. Bog standard, common tool in Japan, but not in most of the rest of the world, which is a shame because these tools are really cool. If you want to see some reviews on them, take a look down there and I'll put them up there if I remember. Now, if you're buying blades for these saws from Japan, there's all sorts available, all sorts of different amounts of teeth, you know, from 25 teeth or whatever up to 55 for fine stuff. We've got fluorine coated ones like this one here. Fluorine coated Makita blades are my favorite. They nothing seems to stick to them. They seem to stay sharp for almost forever. But you can also, of course, get metal cutting blades. You can even get metal cutting 125 millimeter Makita saws from Japan. Now, that's not the smallest size circular saw blade. You can get like 75 and 85 millimeter blades and stuff. I don't personally use anything smaller than that, so I'm starting with the 125s here. And then the next most common size is the 165 or 6.5 inch. This is a 6.5 inch blade. This is not the packaging it came in. Another thing you'll notice, Makita blades look different all around the world. So in Japan, you will often see this design, just like you saw with this 125mm, which I've never seen in any other countries. In this part of the world, they look like this most of the time. That's a standard timber 165mm Makita circular saw blade in this part of the world, an Effie cut. Now, if you're in the States, it'll look like this. And if you're in the UK, you might even still get a silver one. As for the commonness of this size, it seems to be a very common size the world over these days. It seemed to become popular when battery saws became available. Before battery saws, the most common size in this part of the world was 185 millimeter, or what's that, 7.25 inch? But with the advent, like I say, of cordless tools, a lot of saws came out with 165 millimeter blades that could cut just as deep as the 185, so there was sort of no point in lugging around a bigger saw if you didn't have to. So in this part of the world, for handheld blade sizes, 165 and 185 are the most common. Usually then it jumps up to 215 millimeter blades, 235 millimeter blades. I've mostly got 165s and 185s to show you the different types of blades here. Then of course it jumps up to the miter saw sizes, so 10 inch or 255, 260 mil, and then 12 inch. And then, of course, this big boy, which you might have seen on the channel earlier this year, 415 millimeters, which is what, 10 and 5/16 of an inch, something like that, which is massive. That saw had a 158 millimeter, I think, depth of cut. I haven't got that saw. All I did was borrow it for the video, unfortunately. It's the sort of thing that I wouldn't use too often, so it's a big expense just for the luxury of the odd cut every now and again. Right, we've had a quick talk about the blade sizes. Let's now get into the types of blades that I've got here on the bench. Okay, so first up we're going to start with a metal cutting blade. Effie cut blade, 185 millimeter, goes perfectly on this. And that's good because this one is well and truly toasted. They are good blades, they cut fast, very thin kerf, can cut through, I mean it says on here, 1.2 to 6 millimeter. Now is that just stainless or mild steel, because you can cut through 12mm with this thing, no problem at all. More likely to damage it maybe, but it can be done. I really do like these blades, but they do chip up fairly easily. Once they chip, you know, it's a lot harder to push through a piece of steel than it is to push through a piece of wood, if you know what I mean. If at any point you're interested in some of the blades that I show in the video, I'll try and put the model numbers down in the description. I'm not going to be able to probably list them all, there'll be too many, but maybe I can put a link to a website or a spreadsheet or something. I'll try and work something out. Anyway, so that's the first sort of blades. If you look at the teeth orientation, they're very different to a timber blade. So this height here, very small, and you can see that there's not a lot of blade tip protruding above the rest of the body of the saw. You can see there a curved tooth, hopefully you can see that. Curves like that, so that it can get rid of the swarf a lot quicker, but it has a very fine tip that does chip off fairly easily if you abuse them. Cutting through mild steel, the right thickness. If you try and cut really thin stuff, you can damage these quite easily because it catches too easily on the tips of these. So, like the blade says, pays to start at something like 1.2 and above. Anything thinner than that might pay to get out your grinder. We've got some marks here that are laser etched and filled in again. This is to stop vibration, and in theory makes your cut a little bit quieter. But if you've ever cut metal with a blade like that, you'll know that there ain't much quiet about it. Now, I said the teeth chip off a bit. That is just part and parcel of using cold cut blades, I'm afraid. They're not like timber blades. A timber blade, as long as you don't hit a nail or drop the thing or anything, basically the teeth will stay on there pretty much forever. They'll just go blunt, whereas these get smashed off very easily. And it's not just Makita branded ones. Here is a Diablo one. If we come in close, you can see these teeth here are all destroyed. Come around a bit further. Destroyed, 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 destroyed. And this blade hasn't done that much work. Cutting metal with metal is just, you know, it's pretty hardcore, and these things do break. Next up, this is a polycrystalline diamond saw blade. It is used for cutting cement board. So if you're cutting fibrolite for tile underlay, hardy weatherboards, anything that is a fiber cement type board, this is what you want. And it's only got, if you have a close look here, 4 teeth. Not many teeth to chip off, which is kind of good. Fiber cement is one of those things, kind of like aluminium. You can get away with using a regular wood blade, but you won't get away with it for too long. Whereas if you get one of these specialized blades, you'll get many, many more cuts, and they'll be better. The polycrystalline diamond, or PCD, refers to the tips of these teeth. Most blades these days are tungsten carbide, whereas these have diamond in them. If you've ever cut concrete, you'll know that diamond blades much better for cutting concrete than a standard abrasive blade. If you're wondering why these blades have a 20mm bore, you're thinking that's not going to fit on the saws where I live. We'll talk more about bores and the rakes of the teeth and different angles and types of teeth in just a moment. But first, we've got a knot and nail cutting saw blade. So this is just a plain silver specialized blade. Pretty similar to what most of the blades look like in the UK, I do believe. Doesn't have all that teal color on it like most of the ones here do now. So this blade basically has gruntier teeth on it than the Effie cut blades. So it's a bit thicker curved, they're a bit wider teeth. They're designed for cutting through nails and tough stuff. And if we take a close-up look at those teeth, you'll see they're embedded into the blade a bit more. So they're into the actual plate of the blade. As you can see, they're cut into it. Whereas on the standard wood blade here, the tooth is basically welded onto the front. So it's not embedded into the meat of the actual blade itself. So this tooth would be more inclined to come off if it had a nail, just completely snap off. These blades are also not on as much of an angle on the tops of the teeth there. We'll get into the proper terminology of this in a moment. But if you take a look at the tops there, they're angled alternatively. One goes to the left, one to the right. The other blade we were just looking at is the same. They're going left and right, but they're on a far steeper angle, making them a lot more brittle. Moving on to standard wood blades, many of you will be familiar with these, the old Blue Mac, they've been around a while now. So these are sort of in the lower end of quality when compared to the Effie cut blades and the fluorine coated ones and the other specialized blades. But they come in a large range of size, both in diameter and also different teeth sizes. so they're great for just on the work site, that sort of thing. But personally I prefer the Effie cut blades, which look like this. So Effie cut blades, like I mentioned earlier, these are basically the standard here now, and they can go a bit quicker, 1000 RPM quicker than the Blue Mac. Not that I've ever used a circular saw that runs at 9250 RPM. They're a bit thinner. This is only 1.4 millimeters thick. Look at that. She's pretty thin, as opposed to the Blue Mac, which is a little bit thicker, coming in at 1.8. Effie cut on the right, Blue Mac on the left. It's amazing how much difference 0.4 of a millimeter makes. So Effie cut blades have a very unique teeth design compared to most of the other blades we've shown, such as the Blue Mac, which are basically flat. The face of each tooth is flat, whereas the Effie cut teeth are angled in all sorts of ways. They're basically concave, and the much more complex design of tooth. It's a little bit hard to see when they're all black like this. They don't show up as well on the camera. It's hard to see the different multifaceted face. But if we take a look at the logo here, you can see that curve cut out, that concave face. That helps stop stuff from building up on them, makes them cut a bit quicker, and hopefully makes them last a bit longer. Although being so thin, they can flex a little bit, so you need to be careful. You need to make sure they're nice and sharp. You've got a good powerful saw, so you can just cut nice with them. Not every blade works on every saw. Like different brands, some blades work better than others. Just the way it is. And modern Makita circular saws are optimized to use these Effie cut blades. Sometimes when you put on blades with thicker curve, bigger teeth, stuff like that, they can struggle a little bit. And I've found that with every brand, some blades work better on other brands than others. But the Effie cut blades aren't just for cutting timber. There is a whole range of Effie cut blades, so let's take a look at some of the other ones. This is a composite decking blade. If you've ever used composite decking, any sort of bamboo flooring, decking, anything that's got plasticky shit in it, then you'll know how quick it destroys blades. If you use one of these standard Effie cut blades to cut composite decking, you'll get about 10 cuts and your blade will be fried. Whereas these blades are like magic. They keep cutting and cutting and cutting. They are so good if you need to cut composite decking. So why are they better? Well, like most of these blades, it comes down to the teeth, it comes down to the angle. This one's 15 degrees, the other Effie cut blade is 23 degrees. The grind on the teeth's different. It's just little tweaks that make things cut better. And of course the composition of the tooth as well. But I tried several blades before I finally got one of these from Makita, and I will never go back after getting one of those, because it's too damn expensive buying all the other sorts of blades that get you nowhere. And just like the other standard wood blades, they come in a variety of sizes. I've got a large one here that I put on my 270mm Makita saw. So this is a 260mm blade. Got a lot of teeth, as you can see, 75 tooth. It's got an even narrower angle, only 8-degree rake on this one. It's a larger blade, and so with that you also get a larger curve. This one, 2.15mm it will leave when you do a cut, as opposed to this one, which will only do 1.5. Now in this part of the world, the HS011G here comes with a 270mm blade. Pretty easy and standard to get in this country, but not too many places do it. So let me know down below if they sell a 270mm blade where you live. I'm guessing there's a good chance they don't, judging by the amount of people who have asked me to try and get one of these from New Zealand for them. If you look at the nameplate on this saw, it says, a little bit tricky there, up the wrong way for starters, and we're going to get the camera in there, 255 to 270mm. Does it say that on your saw, or does it say 255 to 260? I'd be interested to know what the different ones are around the world, because in most parts of the world this will be sold with a 255 or 260mm blade, which means you won't quite necessarily get 100mm depth of cut. You'll get it with this 270mm blade, which is perfect for cutting fence posts and anything that's 100 by 100 rough sawn posts, but if you put a 255 on here you won't be able to do it in one pass. So let me know if they do 270 blades where you live. When I was first doing some composite decking, I got these blades from Makita to put on my miter saw because I couldn't get a large one of these. Now these big boys are multi-purpose blades. Now that bottom one there, 96 teeth, this one 81 teeth. Odd sounding teeth, isn't it? You think it'd be 80, 20 in each quarter, but hey, 81 it is. So these are quite good for things that you don't want to chip, odd things that aren't standard wood. So MDF, aluminium, PVC, chipboard, that sort of stuff. Not, I found out, not composite decking. I started cutting the composite decking with this because I couldn't get one of these in the 305mm at the time. So Makita flicked me these to try, and I destroyed this blade within 10-20 cuts. It was stuffed pretty much. -3 degree rake there. Once again, we'll talk about that shortly. Only 2mm on the kerf there, which is pretty good. But this blade I sharpened on that sharpener you saw at the beginning, so it didn't die, which is good because these are worth a lot of money. But I mostly use these blades for cutting plastic and yeah, oddball stuff. These are Effie cut blades too, but the teeth aren't quite as fancy as the ones on the wooden ones. Teeth are much flatter on the face than the standard Effie cuts for cutting timber, so a little bit different. They don't grip as badly with that negative rake of -3 degrees, because that helps, basically stops the tear out of material. Looking now at some of the specifics about tool blades, if it's a thin kerf, generally speaking, it'll cut faster. The blade's not as wide, there's less blade to push through the material, less sawdust, they're quieter, and if you're using them on battery tools, you'll get more cuts because they're not having to work as hard, it's not as much strain on the motor, and therefore the battery is not working as hard. The bore of the blade is something very important when you are buying a blade. You need to make sure it's going to fit on your tool. Now, if the hole's bigger, that's not usually a problem because you can reduce this with bushings. Now, the bore on this blade is 30mm, which may sound too big for your saw. You might be thinking, oh no, mine's got a 16mm bore. Well, that's not a problem because you can always get bushings. So this is the bushing that comes with my miter saw. The XGT 305mm or 12-inch miter saw is actually much smaller, as you can see, than the 30mm. The size of the bore on the blades is often very dependent on where you live. Different parts of the world use different size bores. Why? I don't know. Madness, basically. And it's not just because some are millimeters and some are in inches. They're just different. Why they aren't all 16mm or 5/8 of an inch, I don't know, because that's basically what all saws seem to be. Because this 30mm bore takes this bushing to go on my miter saw, reducing it down to 16mm. My table saw is the same. All of these Makita saws I have are 20mm bore for the blade, but it's only this piece here that comes off with the blade that has a 20mm bit on it. The standard shaft in the middle is, like every other saw I've got, 16mm or 5/8 of an inch. So usually when you buy one of these, you will also get a, you look down in the corner here, let's have a look at this one, see it's up the right direction, 30 down to 25.4 reducing ring. So if you've got, there it is in the middle there. So once again, if you've got one that says it's 25.4, then there you go, you'll make it work. This one came with the tool, with my saw that goes down to 16. Even this one that's going down to 25.4 will go over something on the saw that reduces it down to 16. All Makita blades seem to come with reducing rings now, or bushings. There's one there, usually in one of those little clip together bits of the packaging there, as you can see. So that one will take a 20mm bore down to a 16mm. So the bore size, not too big of an issue, unless of course you tried to put something with a 30mm bore onto a saw like this, because this may not be big enough to hold it and the blade would just fall off. When it comes to the teeth of a circular saw blade, generally speaking, the more teeth there are, the finer finish you'll get. The lower the teeth, the rougher it'll be. The more teeth you have, the slower you need to go. I know you'd kind of think more teeth you can go faster, but it's not like that. If you've got less teeth, you can go quicker. So if you're ripping timber, you want to go quick and you don't want to gum up a whole lot of teeth. 24 to 32 teeth is good for ripping, even down to say 16 teeth. If you're cutting laminates, plywood, stuff like that, you want a nice finish, then you might want 80 to 100 teeth, depending on the size of the blade. These blades here, for instance, 165mm blades have 55 teeth, I think, and that's quite a good amount to get a nice finish with that size saw blade. This size, 125mm, also has the same amount of teeth as that 165, so you get an even finer cut, basically, because you've got 55, 56 teeth in a smaller area. So generally speaking, low amount of teeth for ripping and rough stuff. Finer finish, you want higher teeth, 60, 80, 100, that sort of thing. So basically you should use different blades for different things. You've got a blade with less teeth, you'd use it for ripping. This one's got 25 teeth, perfect for ripping. So you'll have ripping blades, cross-cut blades, which will have more teeth, like say this one with 40 teeth. And then you can also have combination blades, which are sort of meant to be in the middle. That's when you're using timber blades, of course. Those sort of terms don't apply to everything else. Taking a closer look at the teeth, if you've got a ripping blade, for instance, the way that you want the blade to work is different to how it would if it was cross-cutting. Because of the orientation of the fibers of the material, they need to be cut in a different manner so that you get the best efficiency and the nicest finish and everything. So on a ripping blade, they're often flat across the top of the tips of the teeth, whereas if we have a look at this one for cross-cutting, you can see they're angled and they're alternating. So one goes to the left, one to the right, and the sharper the angle those on, sort of the finer the finish. Or if you're cutting things that are hard, brittle, melamine, any sort of laminates, composite flooring, that sort of stuff, you want a nice finish and you want those angles to be nice and steep. So different blades for different finishes have different angles on the tops of those. Not only that, there's also the rake of the teeth. So the rake is essentially the angle of the tooth facing forward or backwards from the center line. So if you put a line directly through the center and then you went up through the middle of that tooth there, you'll see that it is going forward past the base. You know, the top of the tooth is forward from the base of the tooth. So that is a positive rake. If it is heading the other direction, like this one, we take a look up here, we get that right on there. We have the tooth going in that direction. The top is away from the ruler edge here, whereas the base is touching. That's the -3 degree rake on this one. So this blade has a negative rake. This one has a positive rake, sometimes called hook. So generally speaking, the further forward that is, it's going to be a bit more aggressive. It's going to cut much sort of quicker than this one here with the negative rake, but the negative rake's not going to be as aggressive as this one, so better for things like plastic and aluminium. This sort of style better for wood. There's hollow ground tips as well, which are basically like the things being carved out. So you've got the edge touching your material, but not the inner part of the tooth, the center of the tooth. Even the center of the tip can be hollowed out. That's kind of like the Efficut ones. They have the hollowed out face, but they still have the flat edge on the top. They're not hollow on the top edge. I don't think, it's very hard to tell looking at this one with me dodgy eyeballs. But basically there's so many, depending on what type of thing you need to do. Most of them you don't really need to know about unless you work in a specific industry cutting certain things a certain way. But for most guys, like if you're a builder, then these sort of blades, you're going to be using them 9 times out of 10. This is meant to be a quick video just showing some basic things about circular saw blades. So if I go into every tip combination, we will be here for days. What else have I got left to tell you before we wrap this thing up? This Makita blade is a little bit different in that it has 2 bore holes instead of the one in the center there, because this one is a little different. Also doesn't have any teeth, as you can see, because this one you go like this, and now it doesn't fit on screen, and now this blade has turned into a seat. I'm not sure what the load rating of this seat is, but as you can see, you've got all these little plastic interlocking bits, and as you turn the top and bottom, you can just unlock all of those, and down it goes. Turn it the other way, and it locks in place. It's a pretty nifty saw blade, isn't it? So that's another blade to look out for. That's the Makita Efficut part number Smoko seat. But these type of blades are my favorite. These, I think, were the first Efficut blades that they released here in NZ, and they're fluorine coated, which is very cool stuff because nothing seems to stick to it. It doesn't wear off the same. This one here, this is the original one I got. This blade must be about 8 years old, and it still cuts pretty darn good, and stuff just doesn't stick to it the same. It doesn't wear off. With these Efficut ones, all this blue stuff, teal stuff, sorry, comes off really quickly and ends up all on the ends of your timber and stuff. You don't have that problem with these blades because it takes forever for any of the black writing to come off. And yeah, so you don't really ever notice it, unlike these ones and these ones where the color ends up all over your material. So I like that that doesn't come off, and I just love that they're quick and sharp and they just keep cutting and get them in different sizes. And yeah, they're a bit more expensive, but I think they're worth it. So hopefully that video has been of some help. If you want a bit more info, ask some questions down below in the comments section. I'm sure lots of people have comments about this particular video. There's lots of things I've probably missed. I'm just sort of having a bit of a quick go over it here on the bench. As I started filming this video, I thought, oh man, there's actually more and more things as I'm going along that I realize I need to talk about. This video is going to end up massive, so hopefully it hasn't ended up too long, and I'll see you on another one soon. Please hit the like, subscribe, etc. See you. Hopefully that hasn't sort of melted all the edge together. Probably has.